I don't know how do people stand? Left hand, right side a lot today, does it?
Right-sided. More right-sided.
So most people are right-handed, so you end up with people standing right side. So most of the time we talk about stuff, we talk about people standing to the right side. So for Kosoto, it's really good if you can get this side, okay? And for me, I like Kosoto, especially in this form, because the person has their hand out, and sometimes a person grabs my wrist like this with their hand out. I kind of like that, because if they get a good strong grip, you know how a guy grips you and doesn't want to let you go, doesn't want you to do anything? If he's out with that same foot, that's a vulnerable spot, because I don't have to necessarily grip. If I can make enough room to put my hand on top, my first thought is to push down, charge, and do Kosoto, okay? Because what tends to happen is the person's already pulling down with their hand, and they've got weight on that front foot, okay? And I don't have to step as far. So when they pull down, I kind of resist them for a second, and then as when I resist, they'll pull a little harder, and that's when I go in. And I always try to keep weight on this side, to prevent them from picking their foot up, okay? And it's a little detail, but it's big. Not only that, when the person stands this way, as opposed to standing with their foot parallel, it makes so if they stand parallel, I have to step out further. If we're standing here, I don't necessarily have to stand forward, okay? Say, I like to play with the grip, and they're playing with the grip. While I'm playing with the grip, my same foot is doing a little trick. It's standing here and it starts to slide out a little bit, okay? I'm on the outside now. The difference between when they're standing parallel is nothing. Now it's almost in the same position. And all I did was move my foot out to the side while I'm playing with this wrist. So then when I'm playing with this wrist and they pull back, now instead of having to take 2 steps, I just do 1 step and clip, okay? So when that foot is out, most of the time everybody's gonna fight this way. I like to put down, and I get my foot just subtly fighting up here. It's a little subtle step, you know, and most of the time people don't think about it. It's just a little step, but I've created from going, we're even at a stalemate, I've created my opening. Now I'm doing 1 step, 2 step, okay? Not only that, when you're single fighting on this form and you're only having one hand, what are you gonna do with the other hand? I just, you kind of grip, but you really don't have to. You step over, just think about tackling the person and taking them to the mat, okay? I kind of talked about the other week about how everybody does throws and demonstrations and they never go to the ground. This is one of those things. So I step here, and in a tournament, you want to land. I mean, not only that, it puts you in a good position to go right into Osaikomi, okay? So I like it very much for that person that is dominant and standing this way, okay? For me, I like that. Normally, for me, it's a little different because my dominant is the same way, so my right foot comes over. So what I have to tell myself when somebody's in this position and that's open, I don't want to be fighting them in this position. What I do is I square myself up and I make sure I'm square. This is important too, okay? If I'm like this, it creates a problem of me getting over, I'm fighting hands, okay? If you've got one grip, a lot of times people will turn like this, okay? It's one of the few times I'm dominantly right-handed. I will almost always, when I'm fighting, this is my hand. However, if somebody gets this hand, or if I get a grip here, my stance changes. It changes to this side. I feel more dominant. If I'm standing like this, I don't always feel, because the same stance, I don't feel like I'm at an advantage sometimes. However, when I'm like this, I feel neutral. So then when I get here, that's my opening for that, okay? But like I said, if I'm here, it creates a problem because for me to step out, I become off balance a little bit. I'm opening myself up and I've spaced my legs too far. And then I have to come out here. Usually, by the time you start to do that, the person has time to react or move their feet. So